I'm sharing recipes for Christmas in July from the bakery my mom and I had for 26 years. Gingerbread men were the elite. They were my absolute favorite. And I believe that they should be nice and soft. They'll have been to them before they break. There's no crunch when you bite into it. They are top tier, my favorite cookie. And I can't wait to share them with you. I've got about 2/3 of a cup or 5 1/4 ounces of brown sugar and 3/4 of a cup of butter that we're gonna cream. This is an egg-free cookie. So all of you who can't do eggs, the icing, if you do a royal icing, could have eggs in it, but you could just set it with a different icing. I'm gonna cream this. Once it comes together just a little bit, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of milk, a dash of vanilla, about a teaspoon, and our molasses. It's 3/4 of a cup of molasses. If you slightly spray your measuring cup, it makes it a lot easier to come out. I just moved, and apparently I didn't bring any cooking spray with me, so did it the old-fashioned way, which works also. And then we're just gonna get this nice and creamed. All right, got this creamed together, and once you stop the mixer, the molasses sometimes will begin to separate a little bit. It's fine, don't worry about it. And we're gonna take our flour, it's 3 cups or 15 ounces of flour, and this is where the magic happens. This particular spice combination is perfect. It makes it taste actually like ginger, gives it tons of flavor, tons of all of the holiday spices without it actually being spicy. So I've got a tablespoon of cinnamon and a tablespoon of ground ginger, half a teaspoon of cloves, and then I've got my half teaspoon salt and 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda as well. And I'm just gonna add my flour in first, and then my rising ingredients and spices, and just let this come together. I believe that gingerbread man cookies should be soft. Pet peeve of mine is in all the Christmas movies when they bite into a gingerbread man, it goes crunch. That's a ginger snap, not a gingerbread man. So I like to make my gingerbread men nice and thick, and then I don't cook them very long. There's no eggs in here, to keep them really nice and soft. So I've got a lightly floured surface, and I'm gonna flour the top as well. If at any point it starts sticking, you just wanna add a little bit more flour to it. I'm rolling these out to 1/4 inch thick. And they are so good, I can't wait. I can't wait, they're gonna be amazing. And then if your cookie cutter sticks at all, just dip it in a little bit of flour, like this, if you have trouble with it sticking. I like to go around the outside, and then I will roll the middle just a little bit before I cut out the interior ones, because oftentimes it's a little bit thicker in the middle. I'm just gonna use a spatula to pick these up and transfer them to a pan. Any of our scrap dough here, we're just gonna ball back up, and we'll keep rolling it out until we don't have any more. These go in a 350 oven for 6 to 8 minutes. They're gonna puff up, and after they puff up, just as they start to deflate is when you wanna take them out. And they're gonna be incredibly soft. As they cool, they will firm up where you can move them, and they'll be perfect. And they rise just a little bit, so you don't wanna put them too close together. Go in the oven. This is what I mean when I say that they'll puff up. Can you see how puffy they are? And they need about 1 to 1.5 minutes more. And this is what they're gonna look like when they're done. They're just lightly cracked on the top. If you're ever like, I don't know, is it done? You can take a spatula very gently under one and flip it over, and it should be very matte kind of on the back. It's really hot, they just came out. If it has any glossy spots or darker spots, that's dough that's not cooked. So you wanna put it back in for another 30 seconds to a minute. Icing for the gingerbread man is just a basic royal icing. This recipe is gonna be 2 cups of powdered sugar and 1.5 tablespoons of meringue powder with between 3.5 and 5 tablespoons of water. And you could probably do this with a hand mixer or with a actual actual mixer. I'm just gonna try and do it by hand. I'm the type of person that will whip whipped cream by hand. I'll make meringue by hand. So it's kind of my thing. I'm gonna start with about 3 tablespoons of water and whisk it, and then I'll show you the consistency at the end. The thing about this icing is the longer you whip it, the thicker it's gonna get. So if you put too much water and it's a little bit too thin, just whip it a little longer. And if it's too thick, just add a little more water. You want it to be not like so thick that it won't run off your whisk, but you don't want it to run off too quick because we want it to set on the cookies. So I just put mine into a piping bag with a number 5 tip, but you could also just do it in a zip up baggie and snip the end, or whatever method you like. Some people don't like using tips, you do you. I like tips. So if you're not used to piping, if decorating's not your thing, I could teach just about any employee to do this. So it's not hard. So let me kind of break it down for you. You want to hold your bag at an angle like this, and you want the tip to touch the cookie when you are doing the legs, and then just lightly squeeze and go back and forth. Same thing on the arms. And then you want to hold your bag straight up and down to do your eyes. You don't touch the cookie. Go right above the cookie. Just squeeze until a dot comes out and lift. And for the mouth, we're just going to squeeze and let it go. And then add buttons. If you wanted to be a little fancier, you could give him a little bow tie. Whatever you like. And these also will need to dry overnight. These have now dried overnight and can be stacked. They can be stored in a Ziploc, thrown in your freezer, sit on your counter for about 3 days. They're good longer than that, but they'll lose kind of their softness. I can't wait for you guys to try these. It's the best ever.